Let's just talk about the weather we've been seeing. I mean, yesterday wasn't just the craziest of what we experienced, but we still had a lot of action going on yesterday, right?
Yeah, dry air kind of complicated things for a lot of us. So especially into Ottawa and Kent counties, that's where things were looking a lot lower than what we were originally expecting.
Yeah.
Dry air was just sticking with us throughout much of the day, much of the afternoon, and even into the evening too, which is why a lot of totals are down closer to about 2 to 3 inches throughout Ottawa and Kent counties, closer to that 4-inch mark, and even a little bit more than that as you're getting further north or south. So Allegan County, we've been able to see a couple of more impressive totals, not necessarily still as much as we were expecting or even hoping for, though.
Yeah, speaking of Ottawa County, we actually got a live look at Pigeon Creek, the sledding hill there. I mean, look at that. I mean, I mentioned this morning on the show that I'm like, oh my God, the snow, just chill out. But then there's folks that's like, bring on the snow because we want to get out on the hills. I mean, just take a look at that right there.
You know, if I was a kid right now, I would love nothing more than just to grab a sled, head outside, try to enjoy the snowfall. Now, I know a lot of people were hoping for a little bit more snow than this, but hey, still sledding, that sledding hill doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's on my bucket list of things to do. You know, I've been working on my West Michigan winter sports, and so sledding on the hill. I've done sledding actually.
I was going to say, I was like, I feel like I remember this.
Tubing is the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm still learning the things.
I'm
still learning the things.
All the bucket list items checked off one at a time. And who's to say you can't go sledding twice in one winter?
Hello. I mean, talking about the snow and taking a look at that, I mean, what else can we expect for today as we roll into the weekend?
Yeah, so still a little bit of snow on the ground for some areas, close to that 2-inch mark for Kent County, portions of Ottawa County. As far as where we were able to see most of the snowfall, though, well, specifically looking into Muskegon County, southern Newaygo County, and extending into Mecosta as well as Mount Callan counties. Well, somewhere else that we were able to see some more impressive totals, especially into Allegan County, but to the east of 131 for the most part, as well as Ionia and Barrie counties. Here's a look at what we're seeing right now in Muskegon, though. We're not done with the snow. Still a little bit more on the way. This will be continuing with us as we head throughout a good portion of the day. Now, this is why we still do have a couple of winter alerts out, winter weather advisory in place for many of our West Michigan counties: Oceana, Newaygo, Muskegon, Ottawa, Kent, Allegan, Barrie, Van Buren, and Kalamazoo counties, still in place until about 1 p.m. Lingering lake effect as we're heading into the next couple of hours and into this afternoon, likely early afternoon as well. Here's what we're seeing in terms of satellite and radar right now, though. Take a look at your screen. Muskegon County extending into portions of Ottawa, Allegan, Van Buren County. That's where we're seeing some of that lake effect still. Now, if the winds don't shift to become a little bit more northerly, we're going to be stuck with some more of this snow as we're heading into the next couple of hours, but we are expecting quite a bit of that to be wrapping up as we're heading into the afternoon. Over the next 6 hours, temperatures will be topping out in the mid-20s, and then as we're heading into this afternoon and evening, we're going to continue to see our breezes picking up as well, so we'll get a little bit windier. I'll let you know a little bit more about just how strong those winds will be looking and what we're expecting with another snowy system heading into this weekend. That'll be coming up in just a little bit.
Yeah, getting all the details and talking about the weather and how it's contributing and impacting road conditions. We had several crashes this morning we've been following. Let's go over to US 131 in Allegan County. The sheriff's office telling us one semi-truck jackknifed, then was hit by another semi-truck, and we got video from this morning. One driver was hurt and taken to the hospital. They are expected to be okay, and that crash happened between Plainwell and Martin around 4 this morning. Northbound US 131 just reopened after being closed for 4 hours. The southbound lanes were also closed, but have since reopened. Crews are working there to clean up debris and tow away the semi-trucks that were there. Last night, a Kent County plow truck also involved in a crash. This one happened just after 9 on 68th and Byron Center Avenue. The plow crashing with a pickup. Now, there were no injuries, but the road commission truck was damaged and had to be towed. And then around last night, around 8, a fire truck was hit in Granville. Firefighters responded to a rolled over box truck on I-96 near Chicago Drive. Now, as they helped the driver with minor injuries, another vehicle hit their fire truck. That second driver was taken to the hospital. No firefighters were injured. The department now repeating the call for drivers to follow the law and move over for emergency vehicles. Now, Ember, You were out in the weather chaser this morning, you and our chief photog, Doug, and you were giving us live updates on the roads, and you all actually passed that semi-truck crash this morning. How was road conditions looking this morning for you?
Yeah, first thing when we headed out, it was still a little bit rocky, especially the left lane really was not cleared off even in terms of the highway, but the right lane throughout much of this morning was pretty clear. Now with the snow stopping last night right around midnight or so, that was giving an opportunity for things to be able to get cleaned up before a lot of people were heading out this morning. Highways weren't so bad, but you definitely saw, I mean, that collision with two different semis. We passed by that, and it really is one of those scenes that you just kind of look at and you say, this is not something that you see necessarily every day, at least for us. It's not something that you would see every single day. This isn't the biggest snowy system that we've ever been able to see, but it still was pretty slick this morning. Things have really improved since then, and will continue to improve as we head into the rest of the day too.
Okay, and then speaking of the snow, and you'll be able to talk more about this, snow days. Students have gotten several snow days this year and some today. That brings up the question, how many snow days are schools allowed before they have to make up that time in the summer? Now, we spoke to several West Michigan superintendents who say Michigan gives each district about 6 days for weather, and then after that, you have 3 extra days you can get forgiveness for, and then you have to ask the state superintendent for more or to make up that time. So the Forest Hills superintendent telling us sometimes that's by adding days into the summertime, and then sometimes they can add extra minutes to each day. I didn't know that one. I'm learning some stuff. Now, he also goes on to say that when calling a snow day, they definitely don't take that lightly.
Quite frankly, there's differing opinions amongst the stakeholders. So parents, don't love snow days. Students love snow days. But ultimately, everybody here has really been very respectful. They understand that it's very comprehensive. For example, today being Wednesday, we had a weather service call last night that superintendents are invited to, the National Weather Service puts on. And they try to give us an indication of what the weather is looking like. And they do a nice job of giving us some indication at what times is it going to hit, when's it going to be most intense, what's it going to look like in your commutes and so on. So that kind of gets our conversations going. So then I will communicate with a small group of superintendents, which is basically our region, those directly around us. And we talk a little bit about what the impacts might be. And then we also communicate to the broader superintendent group with the whole Kent County, as well as the Kent County superintendent, and just try to gauge what's happening there. And so we get the weather forecast roughly a day in advance, and then usually when the event hits, thinking it's an overnight type of an event. Sometimes it's so known, and it's the assurances from the meteorologists are high. They feel confident with the forecast. We can make those cancellations the night before. But typically it's a situation where the following morning we are looking at 4:30, getting out on the roads. We have a team from our operations department, transportation, that actually physically goes out to the roads. Currently, I will also do the same thing. Certain parts of the district will drive just to see, can our buses navigate those roads, and what would this look like for teenage drivers? Because those are all factors that we have. And then again, we start the dialogue through text messaging and those kinds of things, and what kind of accidents are being reported. We can also see that online just to see what the current conditions are. And then we're making a decision pretty early on, and we're also communicating with our operations director. Are we able to clear the sidewalks? Are we able to clear the parking lot so our staff can come in safely? Our students can be dropped off safely. So all of those things are happening. We're using our electronic devices, our phones, to try to communicate back and forth and to get a really good gauge. And ultimately, we're making those decisions. Try to make them by 5:15 is what the morning time frame is that we are really looking at. So there's a whole lot of information coming in. The other factor that we have to look at too is what is happening around us, and that's part of why we all communicate in the area, because if we've got all of our surrounding districts are canceling, and that's where many of our employees live and so on, those are factors because they're not going to leave their children at home. So those are things that we have to be thinking about as well. Do we have staffing that can come in and provide the great education that we would expect at Forest Hills? So there's the safety piece, and then obviously we want to make sure that we still have a great school day.
All right, yeah, definitely breaking down, understanding when those snow days are being called, canceling classes, and what parents and students need to know. Now, Amber, I have to ask, me coming from the South, I know nothing about a snow day. When you're from the area, from Midwest, when you had snow days, what were they like for you?
Yeah, oh, I loved a snow day so much. And we did all the traditions. There's a lot of traditions that kids can do where you like flush ice cubes down the toilet, you put like a spoon under your pillow, you wear your PJs inside out. I did all of that, and rarely did it actually work, which was not the most fun time. When you would wake up in the morning, you would kind of put off getting ready for the day and just watch the scroll at the bottom of the screen.
So was it a scroll at the bottom to tell you
was.
if your school was closed?
Now they get like text messages, emails telling
Fancy
them,
now.
yep, it's canceled. No, I had to wait for Kent County to pop up to see if my school was closed for the day. And if it was, it's the greatest feeling to just say, all right, I'm done then. I'm going straight back to bed.
Yeah.
And the whole day you can kind of spend, I would usually spend a lot of them outdoors because I loved spending time in the snow. It's cold, but it's definitely fun. I know, I'm sad that you didn't get any when you were a kid.
Yeah, no snow days, hurricane days.
Oh,
if it's actually called that. But when a hurricane,
I was going to say,
I don't
like,
think
this
it
is crazy.
But a hurricane comes through, blows through, no power, no nothing. Yeah, you're staying home. So
makes sense.
Those were our days, but the snow, I mean, we did have a little fun in the rain, ain't gonna lie, with the hurricane. So, yeah, interesting. And of course, snow days, they'll continue to tell us, tell the schools and students when they would have them. I want to say this real briefly, and we'll move on to our full weather. When you were growing up, what's the word I'm looking for? Requirement for a snow day. Is it about the same you're seeing now that you're older and reporting the snow days?
I feel like it kind of is, but I remember I didn't like have to make up snow days when I was younger. So I don't remember having to do that at all. We would just get snow days, and then by the end of the school year you could just go home exactly when you expected to. Sometime early June is when that would usually start to wrap up. But I feel like the criteria seems kind of similar, although they are starting to make up snow days now. Maybe I just was spoiled and we just had a little bit shorter
now
amount
they're
of time.
saying, listen, the children need the days of learning. Let's add the
They
days
said bring
back.
them back in. Well, now they have
need to know.
virtual too that they can all learn on.
Ooh, yeah, a whole lot of days. So let's talk about snow. Are we seeing any more chances? I think some is rolling around come Saturday, right?
Yeah, we still do have even a little bit of snow right now. So for most of us, that's wrapped up, especially east of US 131, but we do still have a little bit more lake effect on the way. Now, 13 weather ball, let's start things off with that. It's blinking bright, a little bit more snow is in sight. It's also green, no change foreseen to our temperatures. Here's a live look at what we're seeing all across West Michigan. Definitely a snowy scene for some areas. Grand Haven, even Grand Rapids, seeing some snow rolling in and visibilities that are reduced. Here's what we're seeing for satellite and radar. Still quite a bit of snow out there passing through Muskegon into Holland. Portions of Grand Rapids, especially mainly western Grand Rapids, that's where we're able to see some more of that snowfall as well, continuing to move into Allegan and Van Buren counties at this point. We still are expecting at least a little bit more snowfall on the way, not a lot of it by any means, but the opportunity for a little bit more lake effect to be moving through as we're heading throughout the rest of the day, likely below an inch for many areas. Now, we will continue to see that chance though as we're heading mainly throughout the early afternoon, not expecting to pick much up as we're heading into the late afternoon and into this evening too. Temperatures today will be rising up into the lower to mid 20s. Now the snow that we see throughout the next couple of hours starts to wrap up, but it is going to get pretty breezy for us as well. So winds will be picking up into the afternoon, sticking around throughout much of the day. So let's time out when we're expecting some of those to be moving in. Gusts up to about 25 to 30 miles an hour as we're heading into this afternoon. That can blow some snow around. So if you're caught underneath one of those lake effect snow bands, still things can be blowing a bit and make visibility a little bit lower. Shouldn't slow you down all that much, but it could by just a little bit. So just make sure that you're preparing for a bit of extra time on the roads today, also to account for the slick spots from the snow that we saw overnight. Now, as we're heading into this evening, things are starting to die down, but even more so during the overnight hours and into tomorrow. Friday in general is going to be looking a lot quieter for us. Now, for Friday, some sunshine on the way, temperatures still in the 20s. Heading into this weekend, though, just like Deja said, we've got some more snow on the way. That's going to be on Saturday, looking at 3 to 6 inches of snowfall we're looking at this point. Possibly a little bit more than that, especially in a more localized frame. And as we're heading into the end of the weekend, lake effect will be following behind that, getting into our Sunday. 13 weather impact alert out for us as we're heading into really Friday night and then through Saturday night. A lot of that snow starts to move in right around 10 p.m. on Friday, continuing throughout much of our Saturday. The impact here is probably going to be some more plowable snow, so something that you'll need to start kicking on, thinking about as we're heading into this weekend. Maybe today, Kent and Ottawa counties, you don't need to turn the plow on, but it looks like this weekend you might get that opportunity. You'll need to make sure that you're preparing for some tricky travel heading into this weekend. If you're planning on going anywhere on Saturday, plan for a little bit of extra time on the roads once again. Let's track some of this out as we continue to see the opportunity for a little bit of lake effect throughout the early afternoon. Starts to move out. The rest of today is a lot quieter. Heading into Friday, still going to be staying pretty quiet. Mostly cloudy skies, but maybe a little bit of sunshine at least to start the day. More clouds are moving in ahead of some of that snow that's moving our way into Friday night. So this is looking at 9 p.m. Already starting to see that chance for a little bit of that lighter snow to come really ahead of the main snowfall. This will continue to move in as we're heading into the overnight hours, leading us into Saturday as well. The opportunity for some more snow to filter in as we're heading into the rest of our Saturday. Looks like our highest snow totals will likely be to the north of I-96. At this point, though, models are still having a little bit of a tricky time with where we're going to be seeing that heaviest snowfall and just how much exactly we're going to be seeing. This is still a couple of days out. We'll keep you updated as we get a better idea of what we're expecting for numbers. This all starts to move out system snow-wise as we're heading into Sunday morning, but that will be followed by some more lake effect into the rest of our Sunday, and we're not even done here. That will be continuing with us as we're getting into the beginning of the following work week, looking at Monday once again. So Monday, still the possibility for a little bit of lake effect on the way. It looks like we could be drying out after that, but not before we have multiple days of snow chances on the way. In terms of temperatures, we'll be able to see temperatures today that are largely only going to be staying in the 20s. Things are freezing just a little bit here. There we go. So looking at our lakeshore temperatures that are largely going to be topping out in the mid-20s for many of us. A little bit of lingering lake effect, especially along the immediate lakeshore, largely staying to the west of US 131. Looking further north, our northern zone seeing temperatures that would be in the lower to mid-20s for today. Still some of that lingering lake effect and still going to be looking at the chance for some pretty breezy winds. Southern zone temperatures that would be in the mid-20s once again. Here's a look at your 13 on your side 7-day forecast. Lake effect snow for today that will be lingering. We start to dry out as we head into tonight. Friday looking quieter. System snow returns on Saturday with a 13 weather impact alert in place. Lake effect is lingering behind it as we're heading into the end of the weekend, continuing into the beginning of the following work week as well. Something else I want to point out though, temperatures are going to get cold. Look at the overnight low heading into Monday morning. Only 4 degrees, looking at about 2 going into Tuesday morning. So definitely some colder weather ahead of us again.